Welcome, how good to have you with us again.
Where's the cat? Yes. And yeah, who the guest is? No. What the close-ups go on you? I've noticed. I know, but never mind.
Give him a very close close-up to prove it's wrong.
Where
Go
are you?
on, in close-up.
They don't show the lines.
There we are. More.
Well, that's enough.
More.
You like having me. It makes you look young, doesn't it? Having me on the show. That's why you like it. Royal Variety Show. That was 2 weeks ago.
Third time in 4 years.
Yes, third time in 4 years. And funny thing is that I thought it would be less of a strain this year. I thought I would be less nervous than I usually am, but I wasn't. I was more nervous. I don't know why. And it's a very tense show. Everybody gets very nervy, and I've seen some very famous stars. In fact, on Monday night, Daniel LaRue was running around saying, "Oh dear, I'm so frightened, I'm so nervous," and you know, it's quite extraordinary. What I do, you see, I'm usually put me on at the end of the show, the end of the Lord Mayor's show, so to speak, and now what I usually do is I sit in the car outside, the lady I'm dressing, outside the stage door, because I find it very nerve-wracking, and I sit there, and I put some stage makeup on, you see, before I leave home, and I sit there in the car, and then my manager goes out and says, "How are they getting on?" "Well, there's the interval on." "All right, well, I've got 20 minutes yet." And then just before I'm due to go on, I walk in, you see. Otherwise, I'm sitting in a dressing room there with other artists, getting nervous for about 2.5 hours.
What's the first joke? Can you go right back? What's the first joke you ever told?
Love the way you say "right back" as though it was before the flood.
Let's take a stroll down memory lane.
The first joke, well, you see, I started on the music halls, and we used to do these terrible old corny jokes. Well, I still do those, but very crudely, terribly crude jokes I used to do. Oh, yes. Dear, what was the first? Oh, yes, dare I? Well, why not? Yes, there's the vet. No, the zookeeper, this damn great elephant, poor thing, enormous elephant. And this zookeeper was onto the vet because the elephant was poorly. And he said, he said, "The elephant's poorly." He said, "This damn great elephant." He said, "I've looked up its trunk," he said, "and down its ears." He said, "I've looked everywhere." He said, "I think it's got diarrhea." He said, "What should I give it?" So the vet said, "Plenty of room."
Do you find taste has changed over the years? I mean, do you find that audience's taste for jokes has changed? Do you find that people's taste is different today now?
I think you can get away with far more. I don't know. Well, you see, I was going to say you can get away with far more ribald material or saucy or controversial. And if you do a joke, you can bet your last button that someone's going to be offended by it. Because after all, you know, there's always the joke about the milkman running off with the wife, you know, sort of thing. Well, it's, you know, it does happen sometimes, and it's jolly fun. It's not if it really happens to you in real life, and your wife is run off with if you'll pardon the expression, by a milkman, it isn't particularly funny. And so, what does one do? It's a very difficult thing. For instance, if I tell you a story now about, see, I mean, it's a great thing about the British being animal lovers. Do you think this is in bad taste? I don't know. This is a story I heard. Do you think it's in bad taste about this man being on a desert island? You see this dog Rover, poor thing, Rover, and you see, been there a month, and they were starving, nothing to eat. So this man said, "Well, I'm sorry, Rover. It's either you or me." You see, after a month, when they were starving, so poor Rover had to go. You see, and after this man had finished his meal, there was a pile of bones, and this man said, "Oh," he said, "what a damn shame." He said, "Rover would have loved those." Well, now, you see. You see, is I don't know. I mean, some people would probably find this tasteless. It isn't, again, one of my own jokes, but there we are.
What about, one last thing, what about language, for instance? I mean, you don't use bad language very much.
I didn't actually, no.
No, you didn't.
No, I don't, no, well, no. Well, it depends what you mean by bad language. I find a lot of it a bore, quite honestly. I don't really think a lot of bad language is necessary. Unless it's for a reason, to make a point of something, you say, to make a reason, to make a point. For instance, there is a story about a man, you see, who went to a hotel, and he had a business appointment the next day, very early in the morning, and you know when you can't sleep because you wake up early in the morning and your mind doesn't really rest, and he woke up in the middle of the night and looked at his watch. It was dark. He thought it was that, and he thought, now, I wonder what the time is. See, his watch had stopped. So he looked, and there was a notice on the little cabinet thing, what do you call it, little cupboard behind the side of the bed. And it had on it, if your watch stops or you need to know the time urgently, open the cupboard door and use the enclosed. So wait a minute, so don't jump to conclusions. So he opened this door, and there was a great trumpet in it, to say. So he thought, well, I only think it's used, what do you do? So he blew it. And a voice shouted out from the yard outside, who's making that bloody noise at 3:30 in the morning? Now, you see, if you didn't use the word bloody and you said, who's making that noise? I don't know, it wouldn't, the venom behind it, it wouldn't be so effective.